Please can you tell us about the BBC's Arts Hour on Tour programme in Bangkok on the 12th of June?
The Arts Hour on Tour is a programme that we take around the world to different cities, and we are able to be the conduits for creatives in that city to tell their stories. And so in Bangkok, we have always live music and a comedy set. So our music comes from the Thai rapper Millie. I don't know how many people are familiar with her, but if they're not now, they soon will be. And I mean globally. In Thailand, she's hugely famous, but she was the first Thai artist to perform solo at the Coachella Film Festival. I've just seen her in America on all the TV shows. So she's performing for us. And then we have a band called Tilly Birds. Our other live performance comes from the comedian, that's Pim Bunyawi. And she's actually, and I don't wish to sound like, somebody's grandmother, but she's only 19 and is already building a name for herself. And she has also, just today, on the day we're recording this interview, taken us to various locations around Bangkok for a recorded feature that we call the Culture Cab. Which is wonderful for us because it enables us to, the day before the show, really get our feet on the ground and get a sense of what's happening in the city, what it feels like, what it looks like, what it smells like. It's a sensory experience. And it also allows us to familiarise ourselves with one of those guests. Our talking guests, if you will, all those people I've just mentioned will also speak. We have the extraordinary Thai film director, Ratchapum Bunbanchachok, and he won the biggest prize in the Critics' Week at the Cannes Film Festival this year with his debut feature film, which is called A Useful Ghost. And ghost has different connotations in the Thai language. And this is the story of a man who loses his wife. She dies of dust pollution. And she comes back as a ghost in a vacuum cleaner, a little red vacuum cleaner that trundles along and has a hose with a brush on that she can caress him with. But it's also got layers and layers to this film. So it's not literally a vacuum cleaner. It represents lots of other things. And ghosts and the supernatural is a little bit of a theme emerging for this show. Obviously, I won't know until the 12th what actually happens. And then our other guest is Jos Wei Al Sangan, who is one of the up-and-coming stars of Boys Love, these incredibly popular Thai romantic dramas. And I say Thai, but in all the research I've done, I realise they're massive in South Korea, in Japan, and the podcast that I've listened to with all the fans seem to be American women, and the women are the big fans. So that's the lineup of the guests, and I hope you'll agree that's quite a stellar lineup.
Yes, it sounds very exciting indeed. Can you give us a sense of how popular BBC Arts Hour is in Southeast Asia?
Well, I hope that you would be able to tell me that as somebody who operates from Southeast Asia. But for example, we have travelled to Seoul in South Korea. We did Manila. We did Jakarta. We also last year went to Kuala Lumpur. We've been to Taipei. Now we're here in Bangkok. So we have a huge interest in Southeast Asia. And because there's so much that you can do in terms of telling a country's stories, whether they be current or historical, whether they are something that is, worrying a people or elating a people through the arts, whether it's movies or TV series or literature, music. There are so many forms of art that can tell stories that, for example, a political show might not be able to in quite the same accessible way. So Southeast Asia, where do you even begin to scratch the surface of the stories that we could be the conduits for in this region of the world?
Yes, it's very exciting, isn't it? Do you see a possibility of running an Arts Hour on Tour segment on Burma covering both inside Burma and the Burmese diaspora in Southeast Asia?
I mean, for me personally, I have such an affection retrospectively for Myanmar because my mother-in-law, she became a Buddhist nun whilst she was in Burma. And I have photographs of her son, who was my husband, a Bollywood star called Nikki Bedi, at the age of 5 with a shaved head in the robes in Burma with his bowl. And so Burma within the Bedi family has a really, really rich place in their hearts. And so that's my personal note. For the Arts Hour, we are open to so many places and we would love to be able to do that. Is that an invitation?
Yes, well, it is, I think, because certainly Mizima, we do like to cover cultural aspects of Burma. And sometimes it's a little difficult because right now, as you know, the focus is on the conflict, on the crisis in terms of what's happened in the wake of the earthquake and that sort of thing. So, quite difficult to sort of like put too much effort into more the cultural side and so forth. But, maybe there's something that Mizzima could do to help facilitate that.
Well, we would absolutely love that. And on the subject of earthquakes, we, for example, were in Mexico City just after they had a big quake. And so obviously that was part of our story. And we found these filmmakers who were using all their production skills to get help, to get supplies to people who were struggling. So we saw the artistic community responding in a really interesting way. So yes, although I understand, of course, there are so many more stories that would take precedent, I think that a lot of stories can be told through the arts as well. So we'd be honoured.
Yeah, I mean, it's potentially very exciting, I would have thought. Is there anything else you'd like to add to top this off?
We still have some seats available for the 12th of June. That's Thursday evening. And so if you click on the link, you can get yourself a seat. It won't cost you anything except your time, which we hope to honour with a great show with Thailand's most interesting creatives at the moment.
Well, it sounds really exciting. I wish you all the best with it. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.